something?
This is my out of the home theater review for the Super Mario Galaxy movie. For this review, I've got a Crix OWX50 on-wand speaker centered behind an acoustically transparent screen. For front, left, and right and surrounds, I've got 8 Crix Hyperphonics 45s. I've got 2 1961 bookshelf and 4 1961 height speakers for a total of 6 height speakers. For the low end, I've got dual 18-inch JTR RS1s, 2 Stark Sound SW15s. Processing the audio is a Trinnov Altitude 16 with an Amplitude 16 amplifier. On the visual side, I've got a madVR Envy core processing an EPSON QB1000 4K projector, made it to a 110-inch acoustically transparent Seymour screen with the center channel behind the screen, giving me a 9.5.6 speaker configuration in my home cinema. So unfortunately, I didn't get to see this movie when it came out in the theater. I had tickets and something came up, I wasn't able to go. So I don't really have anything to compare this to like I normally do. So normally I'll go watch the movie first, see how the video looks, hear how the audio sounds, and then I have, a baseline for when the movie gets released digitally at home. In this case, I didn't know what to expect because I didn't get a chance to see the movie in theaters. So yeah, this one is a bit of a letdown, and we'll get into the reasons why, but we're going to talk about the video and the audio. So as far as the video, I don't really have any problems with the video. If you watch the first Super Mario Brother movie, if you like the first Super Mario Brother movie, it's pretty much on par with that. I'll say that this one even goes further to have just a wider color spectrum. You've got just pretty much every color that you can conceive in this movie. I mean, it's Super Mario Brothers. So you've got the stuff on, the princess's planet, and then you've got a bunch of outer space stuff, the galaxy. So, I mean, all the colors are super vibrant, super luscious, just beautiful, very vibrant, very colorful. Blues, reds, greens, yellows. I mean, it's like I said, at Super Mario Brothers, there's fire, there's explosions, there's just all kinds of, the color palette is just super expansive. So you're going to pretty much get every type of color that you can think of in this movie, and it's represented very well. Again, I don't know what it looked like in theaters, so I was very, very happy with the video. I think there is a very slight minimal amount of grain throughout, but as far as, it being an animated digitally rendered movie, obviously it's not real, it's digital, but I feel like this movie doesn't have that overly digital look. Like, it seems like they tried to make it not look as, like I said, digital. So I think that slight amount of grain helps with that. Whereas, most movies that are digital, your animated movies, they look like slick. It looks like they've got that, like almost like you're looking through a piece of glass, like a really fine detailed piece of glass. This one doesn't have that. Nothing wrong with the video at all. But I do think it's a little bit more tamed down as far as that digital look, while still looking digital, if that makes sense. And then as far as the HDR, I mean, the colors on this is just, like I said, absolutely beautiful. The HDR is going to pop. You've got, I wouldn't say that this is, I don't think it's going to stress your projector or your TV or your display, whatever you're watching it on. But you are going to be treated with some very nice HDR, especially, the outer space scenes when they're flying around, they're shooting lasers and different colors. And yeah, I had no problems with the video. Stellar. Again, how it looked in the theater, I don't know. I think this was in 3D, probably IMAX. So, You know, this is, unfortunately, you are going to have black bars. So no IMAX scenes. Again, I don't really remember if it was an IMAX release, but I had pretty much zero issues with the video. I mean, I can't complain about anything. So as far as the audio, this is where it becomes a letdown. So trying to remember to compare it to the first Super Mario Brothers movie, I don't really remember the first Super Mario Brothers movie being, you know, that standout. So this one I would say is probably even more of a letdown. So I'm looking at the Dolby Atmos viewer, and I was watching this, you know, when I watched the movie. This is a straight up static mix. There's really like no dynamic activity, at least on this scene. And as far as height activity, it's pretty non-existent. Very disappointing. Now you will see a couple times the top middle speakers will light up, and obviously I have 6 height speakers. I mean, even the objects are not moving at all. They're just stationary. So I don't even know what's going on up in the height speakers whenever those 2 middles light up, but I couldn't hear anything happening up top during the scene, which is baffling because they're in outer space, flying around in spaceships, shooting at each other, blowing stuff up. How is there not any height channel activity or objects, audio? Like, it's baffling. So yeah, when I'm looking at this, and I mean, there's scenes in this where planes are flying overhead. You know, I think there's one scene where like a plane flies over Bowser, and he looks up, and you see it, and there's zero height activity. So that's very disappointing. They dropped the ball on this one big time. Again, I mean, you can see it, it's absolutely static. Nothing is moving. And it's just weird. But I will say it's not a complete letdown. So surprisingly enough, there's actually some pretty good substantial bass in this. It's not like guttural or visceral or violent, but there is some standout bass. I was surprised considering how lackluster the rest of the audio mix is. I was expecting the bass to be the same way, and that's just not the case here. There's some pretty good decent bass in this movie. So I was listening at around -16, -14, and there was a few times where I was like, oh, there's some bass in this movie. Like, I'm surprised, which it makes sense because stuff is getting blown up. They're flying around in outer space in these massive ships. Now obviously there's no sound in outer space, but this is a movie. It's animated. It's not real. But yeah, I would say I still expected more from the bass considering what was happening on screen. But at least, you know, if you've got 2, 4, 6, 8 subwoofers, it's probably gonna thump your room. But other than that, there's not really a whole lot to say about the audio mix on this. It's just a massive letdown. I mean, this movie made over $1 billion. This is like a massive franchise. You know, both movies have made over $1 million. People love these movies. Again, I wish I had seen it in the theater so I could compare. Because maybe the theatrical experience wasn't as good. Typically, they're usually pretty spot on in the theater. But this one, not so much. So, for video, I'm going to give this one a solid 8.5. It's not the best looking film of the year, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. So, yeah, I'm going to give it an 8.5. As far as audio, I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 10. I'm just not impressed. Not impressed, and as big as a movie as this is, as big as a movie franchise as the Super Mario Brothers movies are, Like, you got to do better than that, man. You've got to come with it, especially considering when this movie was supposed to be much more expansive as far as, you know, the universe. They're in outer space, they're flying around, they're shooting at each other with lasers, they're blowing stuff up. And besides the bass, it's a static mix. And at least if you're going to make a static mix, at least make it sound good, make it sound expansive. And that's just not present in this movie, so I got to give it a 5 out of 10. So yeah, that's my review for the Super Mario Bros. Galaxy movie. Now I want to know what you guys think. Did you guys see this in the theater? If you did, how did it look? How did it sound? Do you have this on digital, Kaleidescape, disc? What are your thoughts? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.